Let's head to Newsmax.com.
Police in Atlanta yesterday said that it's too early to determine a motive in that spa shooting rampage. 8 people were killed in the shooting. 6 of the 8 victims were Asian Americans. Now some in the media are demanding it to be classified as a hate crime.
Yeah, not even after 24 hours of the investigation. But investigators said Wednesday, that was yesterday, that the suspected gunman, 21-year-old Robert Long, told them he was motivated by a sexual addiction and added that racism did not appear to be the motive. That from law enforcement. Our panelists are back to weigh in. Amy Tarkanian, Nick Adams, Mark Halpern. Amy, I'll start with you on this. Why the rush on certain media outlets to label this a hate crime, even after what they've already heard from the officials?
Right, and this very well may end up being a hate crime. And I think any crime to this magnitude, even if it were just one person, obviously is a very sad situation. And this person had some mental problems, but I've seen over and over on social media, unfortunately, a number of attacks that are taking place on the Asian community. And these aren't just by white people. These are of people of every race. And the fact that we are so quick to jump on this one, it is questionable. But like I said, it very well may end up being a hate crime. We do know, as you said, that he claims that he had a sex addiction. And the fact that he chose a massage parlor, I don't know. Maybe he is just incredibly attractive to the Asian community. And, maybe the massage and the touch is what, turned him off or turned him on. And that's why he felt he needed to get rid of the situation. He's obviously not well. That we know. So the fact that we are jumping onto one ethnicity over another at this point, I don't think is the right way to go about it.
Yeah, and clearly the investigation continues. We'll keep following it and perhaps learn more as well, potentially a clearer motive, at least, as the investigation unfolds. But in response to that terrible shooting, the digital magazine called The Root published an article under the headline, "Whiteness is a Pandemic," arguing this, quote, "Whiteness is a public health crisis. It shortens life expectancies, it pollutes air, it constricts equilibrium, it devastates forests, it melts ice caps, it sparks and funds wars, it flattens dialects, it infests consciousness, and it kills people." Now, if the goal is to eliminate racism in our world, arguing that whiteness is a pandemic might not be the best place to start. But Mark, I'll ask you, what are your thoughts on this?
I wish people in the country would focus on unity and not division. If people have provocative ideas, by all means, bring them on. Let 1,000 flowers bloom. But that kind of divisive rhetoric, I think, is not going to achieve the goal that I think the author probably believes in.
Yeah.
Nick, CNN's Lisa Ling called out Georgia police officials for their reluctance to label this triple mass shooting around Atlanta as hate crimes because of what the alleged killer again told them about his motive. Watch this.
The suspect claims the shootings were not racially motivated, and that's what investigators told us today. They said that's what he says. But 6 of the 8 victims were Asian women, period. These were Asian massage parlors. I mean, Lisa, if this were any other minority group that were targeted in a shooting spree, would there be this hesitancy?
Well, that's the question that we're all asking. I mean, Aaron, when you think about it, if this were a synagogue or a black church, there wouldn't be a question. This terrorist targeted 3 Asian massage parlors, and asking the assailant whether this was racially motivated and taking his word for it just seems like a joke to me.
So it's a dangerous trail to go down because investigators are not done investigating. They don't know. They don't have a clear motive just yet. They have been very forthcoming with that at a briefing yesterday, Nick. But if you watch and actually I watched that live, and I didn't understand because I feel like, again, that's a dangerous way to go. And you're talking to an audience of millions and already labeling it a hate crime. So if you're saying it, there's people that will watch these programs and believe whatever these hosts are saying. And we're not done with the investigation just yet. And the guy went to 3 specific massage parlors. Did he skip every Asian restaurant that was on the way? It was very specific. And that's what the police were outlining yesterday. Nick, your thoughts?
Look, we don't know exactly what's happened. We should wait for the police findings. What I will say, though, is that I support the truth. I'm sick of the political correctness that exists. I think that the American people deserve to know in this case and in every case what has really transpired. I find it very ironic from the left and the CNN commentators that every time we've seen in the past an Islamic terrorist attack happen, they're the first to say that we can't jump to conclusions, we can't call it a hate crime, we can't say that it was inspired by this particular group, yet all of a sudden now they have a totally different tune. And on the topic of that article about whiteness and everything else, I got to tell you, in America, I mean, the left like to talk about white privilege. In America, there's only one kind of privilege, and that's American privilege. Anyone that was born here, anyone that moves here, wins the lottery of life.
Sure.
And we should be focused on what unites us, not what divides us. And I've got to tell you, this is the best country in the world for any person to live.
All right.
And that includes a black person, an Asian American, whoever it is.
I'm out of time here. Amy Tarkanian, Nick Adams, Mark Halperin, thank you so much for being our panelists.
Thank you.